Order in the court. Judge Dude has risen, and so should you.
From the dead. Yes.
Yes, looking great. As always, welcome to We Got a Case. Last day of the week, Mikey. It's Friday, I think, right?
I can't believe it's Friday. Not only is that, but for the YouTube folks, it's payday. Thank the
right.
Lord.
It's
payday.
Best day of the month, we should say.
It's such a weird pay way they do. And thank God it fell on a Friday and not a Saturday, because then we went all weekend broke until Monday.
Right. All right. What do we got today? Anything?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. We don't typically see a mother taking out a TPO on her son's ex-friend. A little unusual.
Friend or friend?
I don't know. Maybe him and mom had something. I don't know. Hopefully Judge Dude gets to the bottom of it.
That's the first thing I was going to say is a bit of an age difference.
I mean, well, some men and women enjoy the older crowd, we'll say. So nothing against that. What I am against, though, you not liking the video, and we're only 9 people away, 9 subscribers away from 19,000 subscribers on Credence and Mikey. 19,000, a huge milestone, only 1,000 away from having a 2 in front of our number.
That 2's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. Huge deal. So if you know anybody today, call them up, say, look, can I make a YouTube channel connected to your email address?
Let's pad those numbers, as they say. All right,
absolutely.
Let's jump into court with Judge Dude.
And to the best of your knowledge, is the respondent a resident of DeKalb County?
Yes, sir.
All right. Tell me what your connection is to this person.
I have no connection with him. He is an ex friend of my son's.
All right. So your petition references a point in, I believe, May, where he was told not to return to your home. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. By the Henry County Police Department, where I reside.
Okay. And does your son reside there as well?
Yeah, he do.
Okay.
He do.
So you told him not to return. And what happened next? Or what happened in the time since, I guess is the question I'm asking.
So after Henry County Police Department was called because he refused to leave my home on the night in questioning or whatever, there has been numerous attempts of him coming back to my home, him going to my mailbox, him being within 30 to 40 feet across from my home for hours, just standing at the stop sign.
Looking menacingly.
Followed me and my disabled children from my street to the store, and he's texted repeatedly, called repeatedly from different I guess you would call them text now numbers or something like that.
So let me jump in for a second. I have a few things I want to hone in on. So when he's at your house, well, let me start with this. The time that you asked him to leave when the police came out in May, was he did he tell you what he wanted or what he was seeking to accomplish?
Yeah, he said he wasn't leaving until he came to until he talked to my son.
Okay. Did your son happen to be at the house or not be at the house?
One time he wasn't. A couple of times he was, but my son refused to come out. My son is 20 years old. Mr. Gibson is 26. It's really a control thing, but my son have not really had any dealings with him for the last couple of weeks.
Okay, so let's stop right there. Let's fill out what we've just learned.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mr. Gibson here is a man in love with a man, being her son, who is 20 years old. Okay, that's a little young. He's 26. It's not that bad.
Doable.
Now, if they were teenagers and he was 16 and someone was 10, then that's a huge problem.
In this country, anyways.
He's scrounging his hands in her box, her mailbox.
Yeah.
Digging through the mail, he's harassing her. She's obviously she has some handicapped children, which is terrible.
I like how she crowbarred that in there, though.
Yeah, it's a good point to make, though. Like, hey, I've got handicapped children. He's harassing me. It's a lot to unpack, but it seems like maybe somebody just can't let go of that loving feeling. Is that what we're saying?
Maybe. I think she's getting ready to show us maybe some receipts or something of him being a little bit too controlling. Maybe.
Quick shout out. Older people always try and control the younger people. I think that's pretty much how it works. Shout out, though, to Jamie Jones, who has been in Judge Cedric Simpson's chat today, just singing our praises. And I wanted to shout her out if she's here or not here.
Nice.
Hopefully she'll see this in the future. Thank you so much, Mrs. Jones.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
And Flusha, thank you for the 2 bones. For the man-on-man love fund. And I believe Wenlaw threw out a gift membership.
Thank you.
Always appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
Okay. And so when he followed you, it was you and some minor children, but not
Well, Philip, my son was in the car with me, but so I have 3 children that reside in the home with me. 2 of them are my daughter is disabled and my oldest son is disabled.
Oh, God bless
he's
her.
autistic and he have Down syndrome.
Oh, God bless her.
okay.
Oof.
And so he continues to return to the house in the last
Okay.
2 months, or
There you
let's say 2.5 months or so since you gave him that warning. How many times would you estimate he's come to the house?
At least 10 or 15.
Okay. What
It's a lot.
do you have any information in that time about contact that your son is or is not having with him, such as inviting him to the house or anything like that?
Ooh.
So it was an incident where they ended up having to go to some events together where they were together, and then one incident where they ended up out to eat. But just like I told the man who I spoke with before,
By accident?
regardless of what my son and Marcus had going on, I asked him to leave because of the couple of times that I asked him to leave repeatedly. He sat on my porch for hours, would not leave. That's why Henry County issued the criminal trespass against him, because he was just like, I'm not going anywhere till I talk to him. He would call me. I get up at 4:30 in the morning. I work for the school system. So
Why is he calling you?
My point exactly, trying to get to my son, and my son don't want to deal with it,
Okay. So
All right, so a little stalkerish, if we're gonna believe Mama.
Absolutely. I like that Judge Dew went ahead quickly, brought the point. What about if your son is inviting him over and not telling you, and then playing the victim part?
Yep.
And her saying that they ended up at the same places. Does that mean that mean they were accidentally, we both love going to Denny's and we happened to see each other there, or did they go together?
Could have been happenstance, as they say.
Another question is this: since the son does live there and he is of age, can he invite people over? And if he wants them there, can she have them trespassed, even though she is the owner of the home, but he does live there?
Mystic Lady, if I heard Mama right up there in the corner, her son is disabled and has Down syndrome.
No, not that one.
No,
she has 3 kids
one?
altogether. Yeah.
All right, so maybe this one is the one of the 3 that are not disabled then.
The oldest one, I'm guessing I'm guessing he's oldest. He's 20 years old, and
yeah, all right.
He's the one dating, and the other 2 are disabled. So
all right, so this is a little bit weird then, because
I don't think he's taking one out.
Yeah, because you would think though he would,
Yeah.
but I think that this is more of Marcus. I think that he successfully maybe let's go with this. Maybe he successfully shut Marcus down, so much so that Marcus feels the need to go for Mama to try to get to the ex, maybe, and she feels harassed.
I think Mama's had enough of it. She just wants him to stay away from her house at this point and stay away from them.
are any of these things like accompanied with like a conditional threat or if he doesn't, or is the idea kind of, I'm just never this, there's no other end to this encounter other than me being able to see him?
Well, I don't know what his intentions are, but it is becoming a problem with me. I'm a victim of abuse, and I don't want to, go into my history or whatever, but I've seen this happen in turn bad,
Oh my
and
gosh,
I've
I
had
figured it out.
situations, to occur.
Think so?
But
Yeah, I think I just figured it out when she said that. Do you think maybe mama sees the situation from the outside? And sometimes when you're in a relationship with somebody, you can't see the forest for the trees. You think everything's great. You think, oh, well, this is this and this is how it should be. Mama can see it for what it is and sees that it's toxic and that this guy continually coming around her son has become toxic. And the only way she can keep him away from her son is to do this way he can, she can limit the amount of communication her son is having with him and try and help him get out of this situation where he's probably got it just as bad, but it's a bad relationship.
All right. That's entirely possible. Mothers do get into
mother's intuition.
Yeah. Debbie says, I think that he would, this reply to what you were saying, have be paying rent in order to be okay with people coming over with her without her consent.
Okay.
Paying rent. I mean, that makes sense. Definitely makes sense. Interesting. Well, let's see.
If somebody is respectfully asking you, not to come to their home, or can you leave, Philip is not on my D, or whatever. So Philip can get up and leave at any time. I still have to live here. And when you're disturbing my peace and my children's peace, it's a different situation. You're riding by, going to my mailbox, you're texting me, you're following me. It becomes a real bad issue at this point, and I'm just not understanding, why are you bothering me?
So if your son and Mr. Gibson want to have contact on their own terms outside the home, that's not an issue for you, but you don't want him coming around unexpected or unsolicited is essentially your viewpoint.
Yeah, but my son don't want to have any contact with him. He have not had any contact with him. And a couple of times, after the first or second incident, before I even started calling the police, when it became excessive, my son was just like, he felt sorry because, he kept, begging him to come back, and he had talks with me like, I don't know what to do. I love him so much, but it was only within a couple of.
She did, Gary. She said she called the county mounties came out.
She's called them on them, and they did the trespassing thing. But again, I think like she said, oh, my son don't want to be with him. Let's not go crazy, Mom.
Yeah, I have a feeling. Hopefully, we're going to find out the story from.
Can we talk to Philip? Where's he at?
There's also the fact that she might not, and a couple of you have said it in the chat, this still kind of falls under the possibility that she just doesn't like her son dating another man.
This guy. Or maybe it's just this man. Maybe she's fine with that part. Maybe it's just this guy.
Here's another one. The son's name is Philip, I believe. Is that
Philip?
Maybe he doesn't really want to admit that Marcus and him are a little closer than just friends, if you know what I mean. Maybe because she hasn't mentioned anything about them being lovers
relationship. Yeah.
So there's that too.
Weeks times.
So do you ever feel like Mr. Gibson has made threats to you or anything similar to that?
Yes.
And explain that.
So even the day of the incident, he came to my son's job. My son's supervisor at
before we get too far into this, were you actually, whatever you're about to tell me, were you here to see this firsthand and experience it?
So when my son called me, I drove to the job. So I experienced I did see I didn't experience him in the job, but when I got to the job, he was circling around the job. He was still circling around in his blue car.
You're saying that you saw him at your son's place of employment, and Mr. Gibson was in his blue vehicle.
Yes, and he was driving around and around, and he would not leave. And then when the police pulled in, Mr. Gibson pulled off.
It sounds like this is a known public. What is the workplace?
Waffle House. And
Okay. So
There we go.
Sorry about
But
that.
what-
Waffle House, I
the
believe.
question I had a moment ago was, do you feel that he has threatened you or made
Yeah.
threats toward you?
I was about to get to that point. So after the Waffle House incident, that's why I was trying to give you the short, brief story leading up to. So when I got to the supervisor, which they know me, the supervisor and a couple of employees, I walked in to get. He was just like, "Mom, just come get me because I don't know what he's gonna do or whatever." He at this point,
I know what he's going to do. He's going to cover it, smother it, and maybe even stuff it.
do anything. I went in, the supervisor told me what happened or whatever. I then waited for the police, spoke with Stockbridge police because where I live is like Stockbridge and in Henry County. So I was told by the officers to come home and call the police. I came home, I dialed 911, called Henry County, I let them know that he had a trespassing warning or whatever. And the officer actually came to the house.
Mayor?
When he came to the house, he actually called, he asked me for Mr. Gibson's number. After speaking to the officer, Mr. Gibson popped up. Again, I was riding to the store, popped up. I'm leaving my home. He's coming down. My baby girl was like, "Mama, there he go right there." I was like, "No, that ain't him." Not after speaking to the police and him asking the officer asking him to leave. I made a quick left turn and went up, and lo and behold, he was driving real fast. He stopped his car in the middle of the street, spun it around, and as I came back down, I go to the stop sign, make a right, and I go on about my way because I'm thinking, okay, he rode past me. When I get to my destination, which was the corner store by my house, Mr. Gibson was out with his arms, folded. I just want to talk to you. I said, you know what? At this point, it's too much. It's too much. And my daughter was scared. She was like, "Mom, I don't know what he's gonna do." She's fearing for what he's gonna do. I'm fearing for what he's gonna do. It's too much. And that's not the first time he's followed me.
Well.
Okay, but so he didn't make a threat, but it's the following and the looming and the insistence on talking and so on. That's okay. All right. Mr. Gibson, you're going to have a chance to testify if you choose to testify. Do you have questions that you wish for the court to ask this witness?
Yes.
Yes.
He's got good internet. Great. Should be fun.
Go ahead.
Okay. What's your first question?
I just want to know, as far as the going in the mailbox and things like that. It never happened. But because I know I'm aware that
Questions only,
Hang on,
sir.
You're going to have a chance to testify, but first, this is just.
Oh, okay.
for her. So do you?
Okay.
have
Well, I don't have no
or you
questions.
just-
I don't have no questions.
All right. Well, in that case, ma'am, did you have any other witnesses you intended to have testify that are on the call?
Well, yeah, Philip, they said once I was doing the hearing, he couldn't be in the car. I had to get him so he couldn't hear what I was saying. So you want me to get him now?
Good job,
Yes, please.
Mama. She
Mine.
tooting. Hey, get
My
your
bad.
ass in this car.
This is where we do court.
Baby, get this car right now. Mama, what you want here? Tell them what happened at Waffle House.
Come on, ready for the judge ready for you.
Is she backed in at a Waffle House right now?
I hope so.
I mean, in a beep house. Sorry.
Yeah, me and him got the same shirt on.
Is that him?
How you doing?
Yeah, well,
All
that's
right.
him.
Good afternoon. Can I have you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you swear any statements you make will be the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Thank you. You can put your hand down. State your name for the record, please.
Philip Jenkins.
All right. We're here today discussing a protective order filed by Ms. Lee against Mr. Gibson. Have there been occasions over the last 6 weeks or so where you have observed Mr. Gibson around your home after he had noticed not to be there?
Have you witnessed him being here?
Have you? Yes.
At your house,
Is he translating?
at or around your house?
No.
Not the last couple. Ask the question
Uh-oh.
again, Your Honor.
So
This
I'm
isn't
sorry,
going great so far.
from May to now, I guess really it's about 2 months at this point. So I'm sorry, let me back up because
She's
you weren't
like,
here to hear the other testimony.
answer
Was
is
there a
yes.
point that you're aware of that Mr. Gibson was told to leave your home by the police?
Yes.
Okay, was that mid-May, early to mid-May? Okay, you nodded yes.
Yes.
How many times would you estimate that you've seen him around the house since then?
More than 10?
Okay,
That's what
has
mom
he
said.
been contacting you during that 2-month period?
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you told him at any point not to contact you?
Yeah, I haven't responded though.
Okay,
Yeah, I think I'd let Mama go ahead and get the hell out of her vehicle while we talk to Philip. Because
She's already corrected him when he said, yeah.
yeah,
She's like, yes. She wants him to, be respectful, not say yeah or yep. She wants him to say yes. Yes. Get it right, son.
that's very close to that. So kind of surprising that he doesn't say get the hell out.
do you know, do you have any reason or way to know whether, directly know whether he has contacted your mother?
My mom have his number blocked, but he calls. He's the only person that call ID. Nobody else calls us like that.
Okay, so you're getting calls that say no caller ID or coming from random numbers, and the belief is that that would be coming from him. Did your family used to receive those calls before May? So this is something that has started since in the same time frame that the issues with you and Mr. Gibson started.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Mr. Gibson, do you have any questions for this witness?
No, I do not. Hold on, I do actually.
Do you love me?
This is who it's about. I think I heard that you mentioned that have he had any contact with me since the no trespassing thing. So we're not texting each other since May, since this no trespassing thing, or the night of that time.
Very quickly before he answers that, I'm just hoping that that Philip maybe doesn't answer the questions properly because Mom's sitting right there. Maybe this might be a turning point.
Yeah, Mom is about to get upset, especially when they start talking about the other stuff.
Musculature.
When you text me and say you should have just left, it made things worse or whatnot. You haven't texted me anything or saw me or went out of town with me since then or anything?
That wasn't before. That was
after. I'm saying after the no trespassing thing.
This is permanent. That's just the temporary one.
We're two ships passing in the night right here. So his question, we're going to focus in on exactly what he's asking. Have you two texted at all since he was told to leave by police? Have you texted him at all?
Yes.
Okay. He said someone said something about taking a trip together or going away together. Has there been an incident since that time in mid-May that you and Mr. Gibson either traveled together for any reason?
Yeah, that was June.
That was June. Okay, and where was that to?
They were traveling
Nashville.
June?
Okay. And how long was the trip?
A day.
A day?
Tell me what the trip was.
It was for a concert, but it was one day.
Who'd y'all go
I
see?
had already purchased.
Justin Bieber.
All right. So
Justin Bieber. That's him right there. Justin Bieber.
And so have you made plans to see Mr. Gibson or spend time with Mr. Gibson between May and now other than that?
With the concert, yeah.
No, other than the concert.
Mavis.
He pop up here and there.
We pop up here and there.
Okay.
So is he trying to play confused or is he doing this on purpose? Like,
I think he's withholding a few things because Mama's right there.
And the judge is here asking him questions that is going to show that they're still talking.
Yeah, they've been hooking up here and there even since probably the the TPO went into effect. So I think, it's one of those things, Mom doesn't like him. That's the main point. Mom does not like him.
And the way that Philip is playing this right now, I'm kind of surprised that Marcus isn't being a little more assertive, but the judge is asking good questions. So I think he might. I think the judge might think there's something going on.
All right, Mr. Gibson. I know sometimes I just have to butt in and ask the questions I want to ask, but do you have other questions that you want to ask?
I heard you mention that. Was there any other times in the concert? There's other times in the concert. We have been with each other this whole time since May, even though we had that situation.
Well, hang on.
I'll be like,
all right.
Okay.
So
I'm waiting till it's time for me to testify. I'm done questioning.
Okay. All right.
Mama's
May
back.
I add the mailbox thing? He said he hadn't been in my mailbox. My son is right here.
He hasn't said anything. He hasn't testified at all because he hasn't been under oath and taken the stand as a witness. So
Okay, I just want out the mailbox. He did go in my mailbox because he placed things in my mailbox that he.
You will have a chance to question him about all of that, but that needs to come after he testifies.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Gibson, you have been sworn in. And I'm sorry, Miss Lee, I didn't ask, but that was the only witness you intended to call, correct?
Yes, my daughter is not here. I was gonna call her, but I didn't know if she could testify or not because she is a minor. So I wasn't sure.
Nah.
Okay, well, that's fine. So, Mr. Gibson, you've been sworn in. What would you like to tell us today?
Okay, so since the no trespassing thing came about,
Awesome.
I actually called the police that night because before I came, I told him I was coming. I told Philip that I was coming to get something that I gave him that we was actually sharing together. And
that's not an STD, right? We're not talking about.
I hope not.
I mean, it's something that they gave each other to share together.
I got hopes that it's either a Game Boy Advanced or a puppy.
Mama chiming in, God,
because he was acting weird or whatever, and we was in a relationship at this time, and he has texted my phone and asked me that same night was I coming, and I didn't respond back because I was driving or whatever, and so I came that night and asked him for my stuff or whatever, and it was sitting on the porch, and then I told him did he want to come outside to talk, and he was like, get your stuff and go or whatever. So I was like, okay. So I'm like, why is you acting like this? Because I'm under the impression that we're in a relationship, and my definition, we're in a relationship, and if something's not going right or somebody feels some type of way, I talk about it or whatever. And so that's when I did proceed to leave. I had got in my car because his dad called my phone. I guess he had his dad call my phone, and I talked to his dad.
Sorry to interrupt. Does he reside at the same location or a different location?
I never met his dad before. It just a random number called my phone, and they said it was his dad. So I don't know if he lived there or not. But so as I proceeded to leave, his mom came outside after I got done talking to his dad. She came outside and shot a gun or whatever, fired a gun, and that's when I called the police or whatever because she shot the gun and told them what happened. And they just said, just don't come back over or whatever.
Wow.
First of all, whenever you throw out something like that, I always like to take and look at the instant reaction. Mama, I think definitely did that.
Yeah.
And she forgot to mention that while she was doing her thing, but
completely irrelevant. He pulls up in the yard and she walks out on the front porch. She's like, hey.
And then he just hangs around and calls the cops.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can see that. Being
she
an issue.
Really does not want him coming around or touching her mailbox or her son's box.
No boxes should be injured by this man, she said.
No trespassing, So that same night, he texted me and was telling me this long paragraph thing or whatever, or what he was saying about what happened. And we continued our relationship, and we were still talking, seeing each other. And I guess that's probably the 20 times she was trying to say I'm harassing him, but me and him was actually still in a relationship. So I don't see how I'm harassing somebody that I'm having intercourse with or anything of that nature or whatever. And so that's why I'm kind of confused about this whole thing about the harassing thing, because I don't harass him. And
So
within the past,
what would happen when you would come to these incidents that you think she's talking about? You come to the house, and then what happens?
Well, since they did the no trespassing thing, he didn't want his mom to know about me. So he was still talking to me. So I would meet him either down the street at the stop sign down the hill, and or meet him up the street at the store, gas station somewhere. He'll walk up there and stuff. And or he want me to go pick up his niece and nephews and stuff like that. I've dropped them off. He'll ride with me to go get them and bring them back to the house. Other than that, I keep my car up on top of the street or whatever. And I never came in her yard unless she told me to. When I came over there and talked to her one time or whatever. And but
So you're saying that your practice
never
typically,
Marcus is 26 and the son Philip's 20
years old. Again, we've said this throughout this case. Mama does not want him seeing this man. I don't believe it's because he's gay. I believe it's because she just does not like Marcus. The sneaking off, the parking the cars out here, all that stuff. It's trademark of that. Like, meet me here. My mom can't see you. Is mom going to spank him later or what?
She does seem either very.
She's going to take her shoe off and swat him.
Somebody said he's gonna hit him on the side of the head with a Bible.
Typical practice since the no trespass warning is that you will drive near, and then you will have already arranged a meetup spot with Mr. Jenkins.
Right.
Okay.
And
in what way do you usually make that arrangement?
Yeah, keep in mind that the first real I guess fact that this was more than just friends.
He said intercourse, yeah.
It's him saying intercourse. That was it. Because remember, nobody else is referring to this as a relationship or anything more than that. So
that they were just friends.
Yeah.
They were in a relationship. Like, that's why he said, I thought we were in a relationship.
Yeah. She is very uncomfortable. There's no doubt about that with any of this.
We talk on the phone to each other or we're texting each other.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
No. Speaking of sorry, I want to tell everybody how sorry I am that you're missing out on this. If you're new here, this is the point of the show where I take a moment and thank you for being here and ask you to please like the video. Creed has gone into a permanent coma, or as I like to call it, Creed frame. Welcome back.
That was a long one. Give it just a second.
Creed suffers from narcolepsy. Therefore, we have to do this every once in a while.
Yeah. It's to cover up me nodding off. I want you guys to know I'm on the drugs. Let me know if this is playing all right.
Hey, other than, I just feel like this is just not something
that's him, not me.
Nobody
that's him,
for their life or anything. As far as the mailbox, I never been in their mailbox. I don't touch nobody's mailbox. I haven't even left nothing in no mailbox. Everything that I've gotten him or bought for him, we was in the store together and he has it, in a bag and he carried it to the house or whatever it is. If I need to get him something or whatever, I give it to him in his hands or something like that. Never touched their mailbox or anything. So I just want to see if there was something showing that I was in their mailbox. If there's nothing, then it just saying stuff or whatever. So, because I don't touch nobody's mailbox. So I never came to the house, damaged any property. I never came and was belligerent or anything of that nature. I was always respectful of her. I never called her out her name. I always was very polite and everything. So that's all I really have to say.
All right, Miss Lee, do you have questions for this witness?
Yes. He said about now I'm on the mailbox thing. He said he never, been in my mailbox or whatever. Philip is right here, and Philip can testify to him leaving what it was, a speaker and what else he left.
Oh,
the speaker and a battery pack in my mailbox. I just felt violated with that. I put that in there, but you should know not to come to someone's house. So,
you're saying you felt violated because he left something there?
In the Yeah, in the mailbox. He have no right to go in my mailbox. I don't care if he's dropping off something. If you're not the post person, you know, I just want to ask him, did
Look
you
at
not
dude's
put a
face.
speaker in the battery pack in the mailbox?
It's
We
stupid.
both know that I did not put. Me and Philip both know when I get the speaker back, and when he get in my car and we make up or whatever, he grabbed the speaker out my back seat and take it back in the house. There's no time I ever been in that mailbox. If I want, why would I leave a speaker in his mailbox and I'm coming over there? I stay 20 minutes away from him. So why would I drive 20 minutes to put something in the mailbox and I'm there to see him?
Yeah, we're going 20 minutes about this mailbox, but we're not talking about the pew pew that was fired off at him. Is that
Hey,
not?
you
I
know.
mean, right, Polly?
We're just we're glossing. Maybe Judge Dude is reserving that when he goes and asks his own questions.
Well, I hope so, because again, we're going on and on and on about a mailbox and a speaker.
Like, and he had the speaker. He had the speaker this whole time. Like, when have I ever had time to put something that I don't have in my possession in your mailbox? And if it was a problem with me leaving the mailbox, why does he still have the item?
Because it was a gift.
It doesn't.
Okay, my next question.
Look at Judge
My next
Dude.
question. How many times have I asked you since the no trespassing, had I asked you to leave me out of this and leave my family out of this? I want to know how many times I asked you to leave us out of this and leave us alone. Because I have
Since
since the criminal trespass.
Let him answer the question.
Since that, I only talked to you about you telling me to stay away on the text messages that you sent me. You said to stay away. You said something about the phone because me and him had an incident about when he left his phone, and you said that was the only time you said something like that. Because other than that, I really don't have any contact with you.
All right. So how many times has she told you other times to stay away or leave her and
It
her
was just
family
that.
alone?
It was just that one time.
All right. So what other questions do you have, Miss Lee?
How many times I tell you stay out of my son?
Miss Lee, you're on mute. I think you'll have to click to unmute. See if this gives you an extra button to do that.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
On the day when you followed me to the store, I just want him to testify under oath. What did I say to him exactly at the store after he followed me and my daughter?
Okay, so we're gonna break this down into pieces. So the day that she was going to the store, who all did you see with her, Mr. Gibson?
I don't recall a day following her to no store. So yeah.
Is there a point that you two have had verbal contact since the trespass warning in May?
Yes, sir.
I'm asking, I gotta ask Mr. Gibson, I think.
I thought you were asking me.
Have me and her had verbal contact since we had contact? I talked to her before at her house when she said I can come over. That's the only time. Other than
when
that,
was that in relation to the trespass warning?
I do not remember. I think that was May. It had been May 27th, I believe.
So 2 to 3 weeks later. All right. He does not acknowledge following you to a store, ma'am. And so that kind of puts a stop to the end of that line of questioning. That's just how it works. Yes, ma'am.
The day that he's talking about I invited him over, that's the day he stood outside the stop sign right outside my house for 3 hours. I thought Philip was in the car with him. Philip was downstairs. He begged me to come and talk. So I gave him permission to come and just stay his claim one more time. And he said all of that stuff. And I told him that day, the day that he followed me, and on several text messages to please leave me alone. He's lying.
Can I say something?
Uh-oh.
Because if you send all these text messages and stuff, can you please? Can you show? It's like everything you're saying, you're just saying it. Because I submitted all my stuff to back myself up, and there's everything on paper. So that's just those text messages are from that same night. So I'm saying, is there any other messages that you have? Because you said I called you from 5 different numbers. Where are the 5 numbers that I called you from? Like, yes. Where are they? Because I don't have 5 numbers. So that's why I'm like, where is it? I don't need to call you from no other numbers or nothing like that. I just talked to him. Like, even last week, after this situation, and I'm gonna bring it up. If your son feel like he don't want to be bothered with me or whatever the case may be, he said out his in text messages and over the phone that he was agreeing to be for us to be friends. So I was cool with us being friends and let it be. And then now it's like, oh, Marcus is harassing me or whatever. And I'm like, how? And why would you tell a person that you want to be friends with that they're harassing you? Like this is like a relationship thing where you go through something and then now you put your mom
Judged it.
involved, and then she's gonna go above and beyond for her child. Like I understand you're gonna do that for your child, but it's not given that I'm harassing your child because your child is still feeding into like my mom. She knows about this situation, but she's not gonna keep putting herself in it. But if I'm gonna continue to keep talking to him. That's what I'm trying to say. If he's going to continue to talk to me, why push it this far? If you feel like you're in danger,
I'm guessing in the text messages that's going to come out that they still want to be friends. I think that's what's. I don't think he's quite saying it the right way.
Yeah, he's bringing it up. Like,
to.
Look, we've talked about this. This is between me and him, but mom keeps inserting herself in the situation. Which, in a way, that's, maybe, at first I thought maybe she just didn't like this guy, but I think everybody's hitting the nail on the head. She does not like the fact he's gay at all.
Yeah. I really, really think so. And I wish that Marcus would say this a little more eloquently that because he went into that right after talking about the text message. And then she showed, I think you're going to see a lot where Philip kind of brings him in or keeps him around or just enough. And then all of a sudden, Mama gets involved and it's all harassing. So interesting. This one ain't gonna be easy. I will be RB. Are you okay for just
absolutely.
Or your safety is at risk or whatnot. That's why I'm not understanding. Because we just talked to each other last week. Follow me on Instagram and all. Like if you feel that way.
So
Judge dude.
How many times have you called her?
I don't call the past. I probably called her one time, and I called her one time, and that was May. I gotta go back to my.
Glad you're here.
It was a time where he texted me something, and I was calling, and I called her to ask was he was with her because he told me he had turned his location off, and that was that other time I called her. But I don't know. That was it. There was no other time. Cause she was like, he's with me at the store, and yeah.
Happy birthday. That's a good possibility, Toby. I think that's a possibility.
Even yesterday, I could show messages from yesterday with his friend on Instagram telling me, he said he still love you and this and third. He wants you to watch this movie and stuff like.
All right.
There it is.
So here's the thing. What were you gonna say, Miss Lee?
Go ahead. Say your son's not gay.
What I just like I told the gentleman before you came on, whether they decide to see each other or not, Your Honor, that's between them. I feel a way for him calling me. I'm not making this up. I have my text messages too, or whatever. I have Philip to say have called me for several numbers. Why would I go to the link? If y'all gonna deal with each other, that's y'all. He's never been inside of my home. I don't approve of the relationship, don't approve of their lifestyle or whatever. Never had a good vibe with him or whatever. From the day I told him to stay away from me, he should have did that, just like Philip told him. You should just listen to my mom and left. I would not go. The Cab County is a good little ways from Stockbridge. I have a busy life. I have no time to be running to the courthouse, doing all this stuff or whatever, just because he want to deal with my son. Stay away from me and my children, the other ones, because if anything happens to me, after this or whatever, this is too much. I've seen stalking situations where the lover gets so upset.
That's not here. A rude awakening for every petitioner that comes to this court is what I'm about to say right now.
Oh, shit.
Nobody in this world has ever gotten a protective order from the state of Georgia because of something that might happen. You get protective orders in the state of Georgia because of things that have happened. And so I don't discount anybody having concerns and feeling them, because those instincts are what lead people to come to the court for evaluation of their case. But we're not going to spend time breaking those down, fair or unfair, because that's not what we're here to decide. So here's the question I have as part of this.
Yeah, finally.
If I'm understanding right, you've seen him near your house, around your house. How many times has he come onto the property without your invitation since the trespass? I think you got to unmute, Miss Lee.
This ought to be good.
At least 10 times.
10 times?
And when he comes on the property, what does he do?
Different things or whatever, you know.
Pick one and give me an example.
So he's sitting on the porch. I'm asking him to leave or whatever. Now, the times he come to my home, I was out of town or either not at home. I was at 2 prayer revivals, and I seen him on my camera. But the incidents in hand is him following me, him texting me.
Hang on a second, because I need to unpack some of this other stuff. Part of what you said a few minutes ago was that you're fine with him and your son continuing on whatever they choose to as adults, separate and away.
Damn, I left right at the perfect moment.
Wow. I mean, she came right
Hold
out
on.
and said it.
She did.
I mean, she was on a roll,
She did.
so she couldn't help herself. She
Yeah.
really could. I don't
Yeah.
approve of this. She just let it all hang out
Wow.
right there. She does not want her.
This is the tipping point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not only for her, but also for the judge, because the judge just laid it out to her about nobody has ever gotten one in Georgia
on future events that could happen.
And so now he's really throwing her the questions, because again, I don't see a lot of harassment happening or stalking. Just because the dude's around. I'm pretty sure that there is proof that the judge can see in those, because again, Marcus said that those text messages were all sent over. So wow.
And here's the other thing, Creed. He's not following her. Every time she's mentioned them being followed, Philip was in the car too. If he was following anybody, he was following Philip. He wasn't following Mama. Philip has no fear. Philip doesn't want this. Philip don't even want to be involved in this, I don't think. But Mama, he's a mama's boy. But at the same time, he also lives with Mama. So he's got to kind of live it by her rules, but he's skating them. He's skating them real thin.
Oh, and also this is the first time that she has admitted about her strong religious ties as well.
Of course. I mean, we all knew that.
You would acknowledge that you don't know what conversations your son has continued to have with Mr. Gibson over these last 10 weeks, right?
Yes.
So you don't know on a given day, was he invited by Mr. Jenkins? Does Mr. Gibson think that he's going to pick up Mr. Jenkins at the stop sign or the end of the road or the top of the hill or whatever? You would acknowledge that it's possible that those communications take place.
Yes, sometimes he pops up, and sometimes I don't know. Oh, you're right. I don't know, but I know. Yeah.
The only person that is filed for an order is you, correct?
Yes, the officer said that because my son was 18, he had to file his own order or whatever, and to do mine through the ex parte people or whatever, due to me having.
Yeah, each adult needs their own if they want to pursue it, but to the best of your knowledge, yours is the only one that's been filed.
Like I said, it's for the stalking, harassing. If someone don't want you, around their home, I don't rent here. I own my home. Following me to the store, texting
humble
me,
brag,
calling me, just stay away. But he haven't done that. He haven't done that. And I don't care what Philip said. This is not Philip's home. This is my home.
Well, sort of. This is another thing people don't like to hear. I don't think you knew this in the delivery room. I think this is the second time I've had to say this today. I don't think you knew this in the delivery room, but you became a landlord. You didn't become a landlord until Philip turned 18. But when he turned 18, you weren't just his mama, you were his landlord. And there are legal and life complications that come with that special birthday. So that's not at the core of what we're here to unpack today. It was right at the middle of one of the other cases we had to deal with. But this is a challenging situation when you're telling him to stay off the property.
Here it comes. Just admit it.
At best, we would all acknowledge that there are mixed messages here.
There you go.
Is that you are telling him to stay away. You're trying to set boundaries, and in a certain school of thought.
Okay, he's being real careful about this.
He's being very good to her, while at the same time trying to get her to understand. Look, this is what's really going on. You can't see the forest for the trees, Mama. This is what's happening.
Yeah. Your son is leading Marcus on, not only with friendship, but they hang out in cars together, whatever they do. Okay, Mom. But he's you got to give it to Judge Dude. He's walking on eggshells to try and not, and he knows. I'm sure he's no dummy. Listen, we're making jokes about the switch, and he's gonna get a beating. You know what? Mama's real mad about this. And now she's about ready to lose a protection order. It ain't good for Philip, who lives there with Mama at 20 years old. So Judge is being careful about it. I respect that, but also kind of want Judge Dude to come out and say, "Listen, here's the text messages."
Your son he's not helping your case at all.
Yeah, or your agenda.
You should have talked to him maybe before.
Yes, exactly. You might want to talk to him into this, bringing on the protection order, maybe.
Yeah, and coming from a certain upbringing, the expectation would be that you, as the actual homeowner and the person in charge and the parent and the elder and all of those titles that we earn as we accrue more years on this.
By the way, was that only on? We got a case channel. I just zapped 12.
I don't know.
Any of you that do know, let me know.
I saw that. I also saw we had a raid. So thank you to that.
Someone, thank you.
If that's where they came from, hopefully not.
I want to know if it's on We've got a case or not. Thank you.
Yeah,
I just wondered. That's all.
And to the best of your knowledge, is the respondent a resident of DeKalb County?
Yes, sir.
All right. Tell me how what your connection is to this person.
I have no connection with him. He is an ex friend of my son's.
All right. So
did this just start over
petition
somehow?
References a point in, I believe, May, where he was told not to return to your home.
What happened?
I don't know, but it does that once in a while. Did it? Yeah, it must. What
in the shit just happened?
All right, hold on. Let me go back.
Because the screen did some kind of blink.
And in a certain school of thought, and coming from a certain upbringing, the expectation would be that you, as the actual homeowner and the person in charge and the parent and the elder and all of those titles that we earn as we accrue more years on this earth, that those boundaries would be set and respected for any number of reasons.
Yes, sir.
There are separate and distinct questions legally that have to be answered. A trespass warning can be done by anybody at any time, for any reason or no reason at all.
20 and Marcus is 26.
His ability to, I don't want to, I guess your son, whether your son can circumvent that, for example, by inviting Mr. Gibson somewhere or someplace himself, that's kind of a complicated question in a situation like this. And then the other piece of this that has to be answered is that what you're asking the court to decide, he hasn't said anything threatening. He hasn't made threats. He seems to be incredibly persistent. And then the question that the court is left to answer is whether the overwhelming amount of contact, that might have gone on over this time is, is directed toward you without your consent and in a way that is for the purpose of intimidating and harassing. And it is a concerning quantity.
Put your hand down, Mom.
But what were you going to say, Miss Lee?
Yeah, I'm not going to ask Philip anything.
Like that.
I want you, Your Honor, to question Philip about the stalking. He was there with the stalking, the harassing, the text messages, because, like I said, I can't stop their communication. I can't. You said yourself, he's 18 years old. But I want you, Your Honor, to question Philip about how many times I've asked him to stop, and that's my whole issue.
How many times right, but
I asked Mr. Gibson to stop contacting me, following me, harassing me.
Right.
It's not really
But-
harassing you.
Okay.
Seems-
Grasping at straws there.
And this was after the criminal trespass.
Right. But the term intimidating and harassing, or I think it's harassing and intimidating, that's a legal term that has its own definition in the context of these orders. And the part of this, the trespass warning is no matter what happens, the trespass warning it's a trespass warning. He's supposed to stay off your property.
Mm-hmm.
If he fails to do that, the police can choose to bring charges against him.
Mm-hmm.
But the conduct that he's doing has to be directed to you for the purpose of harassing and intimidating you. And
again, he's walking on eggshells about this lady. He hasn't done anything that you've shown that falls into the legal term of harassment or any of it.
He's trying to do his best not to send her away steaming mad.
But she's
I mean,
not
she's gonna be
listening.
upset. Yeah, she's not getting it. Yeah, I want him to. He wouldn't be talking to you or doing any of these other things if it wasn't for your son doing all the things he's doing.
Yeah.
In the story.
But again, I give him credit for.
I definitely wouldn't come back if she has been brandishing a pew pew, which we kind of just brushed right over.
Yeah. So there's the other thing. Like, we know that she's not listening to any of this. She's not getting it because she just reverted back to the beginning again with the same stuff. And at some point, you got to be stern sometimes too. And that's, as many of you in the chat have not forgotten, neither have we, about, again, it was said one time, we haven't went back to it, haven't said anything about her firing off a couple shots at him.
And he needs to stay away. I mean, if it's got to that point, it's on the verge of being very dangerous. Not saying this lady wouldn't intentionally hurt him, but accidents do happen, and he needs to stay away.
At the very least, go and hang out at those restaurants that you guys met up at that we heard about earlier.
Go up at the stop sign and wait for him. Whatever it is you got to do, just don't go to that house again.
And don't touch Mama's mailbox.
Oh God, forever, ever.
Just stay away from Mama's mailbox.
That term is defined in a specific way legally that at its core mostly boils down to your physical safety. And what we have here is a relationship that you don't approve of that continues to go on with your son who lives in your house. It might be on and off. It might be on again, off again, and have its ups and downs. Most relationships do, no matter the age, but especially in your 20s, that's how that goes.
Oh, God, yeah.
But
You know what, Marley? I give. You're right. You're right. You're right.
He needs to know to stay away because not
Yeah.
just for her benefit,
this
but
point.
his too at this point, because
Yeah.
it's clean cut. She does not want him on property.
No.
And the no trespass order is already in place. He violates that. Boom. The cops are called. Boom. He's getting locked up for a little bit. He's getting charges.
Yeah. And Courtney, you're just asking. Yeah, it was breezed over very quickly. It was said about her firing off a couple shots at him, but they just went on about the mailbox for 20 minutes. So I don't
By
know.
the way, 15 months a member.
The
Jim,
conduct-
7 months
yeah.
a member. Leather and Lashes. Thank you guys for that.
Thank you to all of you. That is awesome. Don't forget, we got a Chase coming up 4:05, and then members only on the main channel. Credence and Mikey tonight 5:30.
being undertaken here. I think we all agree that
It's here earlier. Where were
the
you?
contact between you and Mr. Gibson at the end of the day is not about you. It's about your son. It's not to intimidate and harass you, though I'm sure you find it incredibly, I would describe it as annoying. And so the two advisements that I'm going to give everybody are going to be
Moving
these
out.
two things. We already talked about the trespass. It's 420. Y'all have been very patient. I'm not going to say all that again.
420.
The other advisement is this.
Did Judge Dude just get in a 420 reference just out of nowhere? What's up with that? Huh?
What do you think I wore this tie-dye shirt for? Kind of party.
Other forms of communication, specifically electronic communication, phone calls, text messages,
That's
emails,
really
social media posts. Those types of electronic communication are covered by the harassing communication statute, which sets out that is a misdemeanor crime to repeatedly contact someone against their wishes or without their consent. What Miss Lee is expressing today is that she wishes for Mr. Gibson to have no contact with her, and that's being spelled out clearly as day, in case there was any doubt about that. That Mr. Gibson should not be on her property. He should not contact her electronically or otherwise. The protections that are in place by law in the form of the trespass statute and the harassing communication statute, those protections apply with or without a protective order. Police can bring charges with or without a protective order. They would bring slightly different charges if there were a protective order. But my finding for today is that even though I am severely concerned about the quantity of contact, or I will say presence, some of these don't involve direct interactions, but they involve proximity. I'm concerned about the amount of this, but the purpose and intent laid out in the stalking statutes that's required for me to issue the order, I don't have enough evidence to say that this is the appropriate decision for today. Mr. Gibson, I think we've all been able to figure out what boundaries there are. If you and Mr. Jenkins continue to be in contact with each other, that's between you and Mr. Jenkins as adults. You're not permitted on the property. You're not, insofar as she has already told you not to contact her. If you do contact her, that is harassing. And the one thing I tell everyone when a stalking order is not extended is that I have never said no to a stalking order. I have only ever said not yet. And what that means is that if anything else happens, it gets added to the petition gets refiled, and we do all this again for her to essentially ask the straightforward question, what about now, Judge? Does this put us over the line? And so we do that when we have to. Understand and respect those boundaries. It seems like, for whatever consolation this may be, she does not wish to interfere in whatever is going on between the two of you, but she wants to be out of it, and she wants her minor children to be out of it, which is a better position to be in than one where she wished to actively interfere, or one where she wished to keep Mr. Gibson and Mr. Jenkins apart. So for whatever that's worth, any plans you two may have together, make those plans in accordance with those wishes, because
Judge Dude is
even with Mr. Jenkins's invitation to come get him or come meet him, if it was on his property,
Very thorough.
you would be running the risk of the police just being left to decide who was in the right and who's in the wrong. If one person said stay away and one person said come visit, And that's not a position that any police officer or any court ever wants to see you in the middle of,
Vicky.
because there are no right answers, only wrong answers when you get put with that. And so stay off the property. Do not contact her for any reason. The order that will be issued by me is what's called dismissal without prejudice. And if Ms. Lee needs to refile her petition due to additional contact or presence on her property, then she is encouraged to do so when needed. We're going to place you both back in the waiting room and you'll be free to log off.
Denied.
Well,
No surprise. No
you
surprise.
got it right. Tell you another thing that we didn't mention too, that I'm kind of getting these, I'm going to say it so we get a lot more views, vibes. I said vibes from Mama, that maybe she don't want the other two children to see what's going on with their older brother, what the older brother's doing with his friend.
Yeah, she's very upset.
Yeah.
She does not like it at all.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate, and that's her right to feel that way.
That's her thing.
That's her
Yeah.
thing, you know. Feel how you feel, baby.
And
What you need to.
and listen, if Philip doesn't like the way that Mama is in his relationship and all in his business, leave the house.
Yeah.
Go get
Be a little
job.
more
You're
straight
20.
up.
20. It's time. You can
Stop
do it.
being scared of your mom.
Yeah.
Let her know, hey,
Leave. This is my life. I'm gay.
I'm busy sleeping with dudes.
Yeah.
It
That's
is
you
what
gotta
it
do,
is.
right? I mean,
He's gonna have to. He's gonna rip the Band-Aid off at some point.
I have a feeling that if Judge Dude would have told Mama to get the hell out of her what is it, 98 to 05 Tahoe, allegedly, that we might have seen a little bit different side of Philip, and we might have gotten more answers, maybe.
Yeah, he
But-
was not very forthcoming, beating around the bush a bunch. It is what it is. By the way, thank you to I saw so they said there was a law talk with Mike Raid. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
We appreciate it. Unfortunately, y'all left the door open when you come in, and a bunch of trolls come in
Apparently.
behind you.
Boy, did they ever. And the good ones that start out just putting letters and saying
Yes, the very bad
Yeah.
trolls come through. So
I zapped, I know 11 or 12, I counted.
it happens. The
Maybe
price
I
of
said
doing
that.
business, baby.
Thanks for the views and the
Yes. Hopefully they liked it on the way out.
extra comments. Yeah, I hope they did. I'm pretty sure they're just bots anyways. But who knows? You never know. The No Connection Express, Flusha, Wenlaw, thank you both. See you guys, I guess 4:05, huh? Florida Friday.
Yeah, with a bonus episode, not bonus episode, but a bonus video today, Creed. Bonus video.
Ooh.
We're going to the Florida of the world.
Okay, I like that.
So make sure you're there for that. We love you guys. Look, it's not the size of the train that matters, it's the love in it. It's what you put out of it. We love you guys. So I want you to stay safe. I want you to stay hard. I want you to stay tuned. Cause me and Creed both know, and you know, deep in your soul, the best is yet to come. I bet.
Yeah, you're not nice. Got me thinking. Is it Brazil? Is it?
Well, we'll find out, won't we?
Right.
We'll find out.
Birthday weekend, leather and lashes.
Oh, do